Awesome. Okay, I'm Caroline Joy, and this is my capstone. So, did you know that in 2015, more than 200,000 cases of leprosy were reported around the world, or close to 19,000 children were diagnosed with Hansen's disease in 2015? That's more than 50 a day. Infants with leprosy are abandoned by their parents and left at the footsteps of leper colonies. Of the said 200,000 reported cases of leprosy, the vast majority waited too long to receive treatment because of the social stigma that's attached to leprosy. They're tagged as the untouchables. In Matthew 8:1-4, Jesus came down from the mountainside. Large crowds followed him. A man with leprosy came and knelt before him and said, "Lord, if you're willing, you can make me clean." Jesus reached out his hand and touched the man and said, "I am willing." He said, "Be clean." Immediately, he was cleansed of his leprosy. Then Jesus said to him, "See that you don't tell anyone, but go show yourself to the priest and offer the gift of Moses commanded as a testimony to them." Jesus reached out and touched the leper, which was unheard of. In biblical times, they're not even supposed to come into town. It was illegal for them. So the fact that Jesus was even communicating with this man, let alone reached out and touched him, was super crazy. And so I think that our mission is that if Jesus can go out and reach the untouchables, then we should too. So the Ken Lap National Leprosy Hospital is in the Neon province of Vietnam. My dad actually is involved in international business, and he works with a man named Dr. Lon, and he's very involved at this hospital. It's inside of a leper colony where these lepers are secluded from the rest of the community and are living on their own. Here's a picture of the emergency room, actually, on the screen, which I think is just it really upset me that people who are, whenever we think of emergency room, it's really nice typically, but these are just metal beds with not even padding on them, so I just think it's really upsetting. But the hospital helps these lepers that are living in the colonies. They're missing arms and limbs, and they're just trying to treat them, make them better. So I contacted Dr. Lon, which is my dad's business partner, in Vietnam, and I asked how I could help these lepers. And he said that the leprosy hospital is obviously lacking in funds, as you can see by their room, but they needed 20 wheelchairs for their patients because they're missing arms and legs from the disease, so obviously they can't move around. And so I decided that I was going to fundraise to get these 20 wheelchairs and bring them to them. So my fears and concerns going into this project were that I wasn't going to raise enough for 20 wheelchairs and that I would let the hospital down because I hate letting people down. It stresses me out. But and then another thing would be shipping 20 wheelchairs across the world. That just seems really difficult to me. But fortunately, my dad works for DeRoyal, and they ship medical supplies all the time. So they said that they would be able to help me out with that part. My mentors in this project were my dad and his business partner, Dr. Lon. Dr. Lon is very strong in his faith in Vietnam too. So he works with this leprosy hospital not just as a job, but because he feels that that's his Christian duty to serve these helpless people. So I wanted to talk a little bit more about what leprosy is, the disease itself. It's more professionally known as Hansen's disease. It's common in resource-poor countries, more underdeveloped places such as India and Vietnam. But it's this bacteria called Mycobacterium leprae, and it attacks the nervous system of the body, which causes your arms and legs and digits to go numb, and it actually can result in the retraction or the body's reclamation of digits and arms. So here's a picture of a man at the hospital. It's his foot. His digits are obviously being reclaimed by his body, and so it makes it really difficult for them to get around. Sorry, these pictures are a little graphic. Sorry. Here's a few pictures of some of the lepers at Ken Lap. On the far right is a man's leg. Obviously, he suffered from leprosy for a long time. In the middle is a few of the lepers just outside of waiting to be treated. And on the left is the same man. It's his hands as well. So he's missing a leg, actually both legs. He has a prosthetic on the other leg, and both of his hands. So to fundraise for this project, I decided I was going to write letters and emails and contact like big name corporations and try to kind of get awareness out. But that wasn't exactly the smartest idea because obviously they're big corporations. They're having lots of people write letters to them every day asking for money for different charities. So it was just kind of another letter to them. So I didn't have as much success contacting places. Like I contacted the Tim Tebow Foundation, Chick-fil-A, Target, and a couple other places, but none of them were able to give. And so then I finally visited DeRoyal and Powell with my dad, and we were able to raise more funds there because it's face-to-face contact. And I think that that was really the major reason why it was more effective than the letters and emails, because you can't completely portray like your heart behind something in words on a page, I think. And so that was more successful, as well as the phone calls that I made to companies too. After I sent a letter or email, I would follow up with a phone call. So that ended up being more successful. I've only raised so far 12 of the 20 wheelchairs that I shot to aim or to raise. But I'm going to keep the project ongoing to keep raising them. So what I've learned from this is Hansen's disease. I learned that it's still alive and well. It's not exactly the same leprosy that we hear about in the Bible, because in biblical times, they would call kind of any blemish of the skin, they would call that leprosy because they didn't know a difference. But I learned a further knowledge of the actual leprosy that's still going on today. I learned that face-to-face contact is more effective whenever it comes to fundraising. That's definitely the most effective way to do things. And then I realized how blessed we are to live in a first world country. On the top of this page, this is Park West Hospital, 5 minutes down the road from us. We could literally walk there if we wanted to. And below is the picture of the hospital that I'm raising the wheelchairs for. And I just think it's really sad that we break a bone or something, we go to Park West, this amazing facility 5 minutes from us, but these people are missing limbs and they have to go to this rundown building. Again, what would I change? I would do more face-to-face interaction, more phone calls instead of letters and emails. I would involve more friends and family in fundraising because I think that's the most effective way. They know you better and they can trust you more. And obviously, they're your friend and family, so they want to help you in your goals. So my plans for the future, I'm going to continue fundraising. I actually have a GoFundMe. The link is on the bottom. It's gofundme.com/chairs4lepers, where I'm continuing to raise funds for this hospital. At the end of May of this year, after school's out, I'm actually going to Vietnam and visiting the leper colony with my dad. So I'm super excited about that. So I'll get to personally deliver the wheelchairs with everyone. When I go on that trip, I'm really excited. I'm going to take pictures of the patients with their wheelchairs and be able to send those out as a thank you to all the people that have donated, just so that they can see like where their money went and how well it's being used. I'm actually attending Palm Beach Atlantic University in the fall to play lacrosse, where I plan on being a business major, because I think, although this was a fundraising project, I think I kind of got a glimpse into the business world from talking to local and corporate businesses. So I'm really interested and optimistic for the future of that.